Hey, welcome to another edition of Faith Focus Atlanta. I'm so glad that you decided to make Faith Focus Atlanta what you want to see at this very moment in time. Today we're talking to the one and only Reverend Horatio Brown, the historic, legendary Horatio Brown, who hails from a little town called Poplar Creek, Mississippi. He comes to us today to answer some very, very tough questions, and at the same time give us a background on just where he came from and where he hopes to go after such crazy recent events. Thank you, Reverend Brown, for joining us today. Well, there's just so much to know about Reverend Horatio Brown. Well, let's see here. Where shall we start? Let's start at the beginning. How about that? Yes. Now, I was born in 1952 in a little town called Poplar Creek, Mississippi. My mama was a seamstress and my daddy was a sharecropper. Now, it was a hard time back then, and they sent me up here to Atlanta at the tender age of 33 to live with my Aunt Sally. Now, Aunt Sally had one leg, and so it was hard for her to really get around. And so what I did was I took a broomstick and fashioned it into a peg leg, thus giving her the ability to walk. Well, we were walking down the street, me and Aunt Sally, somewhere around Auburn Avenue and Jackson Street, and she took a fall right there in front of the what was then called the Baptist Fellowship of Mount Sunshine. And that's pretty much where I come from and how I got to be here in Atlanta, Georgia, and how I ended up being right there in front of that church. Reverend Brown, could you tell us just what was your calling like to the ministry? Well, I was a rascal. Yes, I was. I mean, I was such a rascal. You know, I wasn't always saved. No, not always. I used to hang out on Auburn Avenue around 1973, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, all the way to 81. And boy, back then, I tell you, it was something else down on that street. Yes, it was. Now, I was coming out the juke joint. I mean, coming out of the mission hall around about 83. And did I mention that I've been in ministry for over 50 years? Yeah. But when you talk about the true calling of ministry, that happened as a more of an evolutionary process that took some 44 years before I really was able to grasp fully the meaning of what a calling was. And so coming out there in around 81, I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden I was hit by a deuce and a quarter. Now, when I woke up and I saw the ambulance technicians working on me, I knew then that there was a chance that God might be trying to tell me something. And so I just took heed to what he said, which was, stop all that drinking, stop all that smoking, stop all that pimping. Yeah. And that from then on, I've just been living it fully, 100% since then. Yes. Now, Reverend Brown, we've heard the news reports, but the folks at home want to hear it straight from your mouth. Just what happened at Greater Mount Sunshine International. Can you elaborate on what happened? You had to go there. That's all right. I knew the hard questions were going to come. And what can we say about Greater New Mount Sunshine International Church? Well, you know, I can't speak badly about the people at the church. They did give me a chance. I pastored for over 15, 20 years there at that church in particular. I was there for the name change, the great name change. We had a lottery, and we had several different names. And I guess after the third or fourth church split, we decided on that name. But getting back to more recent events about what happened at the church, What I can tell you is this. I have been nothing but faithful. Faithful to the peoples at that church. I have given my time. I've given my talent. And oh yes, I have given even, yes, my treasure to that church. But there's a couple of demons in that church. And as the Lord says, some of these cannot come out but by prayer and fasting. And I prayed, but maybe I just didn't fast enough. Because them demons are still in the church. Oh yes, they are. And I just continue to pray for them. And come next week, I'm going to start my fast. But if you really want to know what happened, jealousy. They was tired of seeing me prosper. Well, I can't help it. If I'm prospering, I prospered. For the whole time I was there, I was a very, very, very prosperous preacher. Yes, I was. Now, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. And the Lord took it away. And I'm okay with that. I just let go and let God. Yes, I do. There is this question about the building fund. I was wondering if you could enlighten us as to exactly what happened with the building fund. Okay then. What kind of advice would you give to up-and-coming young preachers who are really charged up about preaching the gospel or excited about ministry? I'm so glad you asked me that question. My answer to it is simply this. For young, up-and-coming preachers of the gospel, it may sound profound, it may sound difficult to understand, but think on these things, and they are as follows. If a woodchuck could chuck wood, what kind of wood would the woodchuck chuck if the woodchuck could chuck wood? A fuzzy wuzzy was a bear. A fuzzy wuzzy had no hair. If fuzzy wuzzy had no hair, then he wasn't fuzzy, was he? Well, thanks for joining us here on Faith Focus. It's been an exciting time. Be sure to join us next week when the one and only Lucius Merriweather will be with us. And he'll be explaining to us just how rough it is being a underground CD salesman for used pawn shop jewelry. Join me next time on Faith Focus Atlanta. This is James Winfrey saying peace.